ancient campfires, modern businesses. Did you ever wonder how ideas from thousands of years ago still shape our communities today? Here's the kicker. These ancient styles really do still have an influence on how we build community. The Hebrews, with their focus on shared history and faith, remind us of the power of belonging and support. Think things like potlucks and extended family reunions and tight-knit church groups. But then we can remember that this inward focus can sometimes make it hard to welcome outsiders. Meanwhile, we have the other side, the Greeks, with their emphasis on reason and active participation, like bustling town squares brimming with ideas. Think things like open mic nights and civic action groups. This focus on individual voices can be amazing, but it can also overshadow the importance of shared goals and that collective spirit. The cool thing is, we don't have to choose just one. Our modern Christian business communities can be like a beautiful tapestries woven from both of these threads. Imagine business communities where shared faith creates a really strong foundation, but open communication and diverse perspectives helps everyone to grow. Picture communities that advocate for justice, just like the ancient Greeks, but also provide a support system like the strong families of the Hebrews. So, what kind of community tapestry will we weave? The answer lies in finding just the right balance, drawing on the strengths of both of these ancient traditions.
So, wise women, we hope that you'll join us as we explore the Hebrew and Greek styles of community and see how they can weave a powerful tapestry for your Christian business. We'll look at 4 specific areas that I believe, Deneen believes, are the foundation to the best community when woven together correctly.
So buckle up for some insights during our discussion and a chance to really help build the best thriving community for the future. I am DeneenTB.
And this is Mary Allure.
Join us as we talk through how we can pull from the Hebrew thought about community, collective responsibility, tradition, and at the same time lean on the Greek thought that is more about individualism, intellectual curiosity, and innovation to create a new mosaic of what it means to be a Christian, a faith-driven Christian with a business community. You know, Mary, even though I've worked with Christian women entrepreneurs, I don't even want to say how long, more than a decade now. I think that it is only since the pandemic in 2020 that I've really seen a surge in women craving community. Have you observed this as well?
Right, I have too. Definitely, I see that we became more isolated. Of course, we became definitely isolated. And then it trickled into our lives, into our community, into our friendships. And I could see now why there is the surge of women, and myself included, craving community.
Right. And so many people became quote entrepreneurs. They became stay at home, work from home
They
kind of
did.
people. So therefore they're alone. They're much
Yes.
more time alone, or if they are interacting with people, it's very scheduled into
Right.
Zoom meetings or
Right.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I've actually seen it even go, further than this, and seen many women make the switch from traditional church communities to really trying to find an online community or some other type of community that really is a good fit for them, that really addresses their wants, their needs in a way that they didn't think about before, spiritually or in their business. They want to blend it together. They don't want it to be separate anymore. And I've seen this. I mean, you could see it everywhere we've gone, the trend to be online for everything, all of our churches, all of our business stuff, everything, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And even if you do go to church Bible study, I go to a church Bible study at church physically. And it's so different because these women, they're great, of course, but we're just not connecting because I'm doing something different. I have a business, a lot of people don't, and that kind of thing. So it's again trying to find those people that you can connect with over a shared goal or experience.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about this, right?
Yes, yes. And before we get into our discussion about the Hebrew versus the Greek thought and how to merge them, we want to remind everybody to please subscribe.
Yes.
If you're watching, subscribe to YouTube. And of course, this is a podcast also. So if you're listening in on whatever your favorite podcast platform, make sure to follow us and give us a 5-star review rating. And of course, we'd love it if you'd share this episode.
Share.
Share.
So, okay, so we're going to break this down into 4 parts, as we said, and we're going to look at how each side, so to speak, the Hebrew and the Greek, views community. And then we'll pull those best parts and really see how they apply to creating a Christian business community and what that should look like. And of course, how our community, the Calling Clarity community, compares. So let's evaluate, and you stay with us for evaluation. So the first part is orientation. Now, this is something that I actually have studied for a long time, the Hebrew versus Greek. And if everybody doesn't know, let me just give a little bit of background. The Hebrew, of course, is the Old Testament, you know, how Jewish people are today. That's what we're talking about, that thought process. And the Greeks are more what Western civilization is. And we all know that Americans are very individualized, you know, are all rights and all that stuff. So if we want to think about think of that, our society as Westerners versus more what we call warm culture kind of people, maybe people like the Hebrews, like the Jewish people, maybe South American, and those types of cultures. So that's kind of the difference. So the orientation inside of a Hebrew community is more process oriented. You know, first they start with God, as I always say, that vertical connection to God, right?
Yeah.
And they exist in relationship to God and his principles. Of course, we have one more step as being followers of Jesus, but it's still basically the same thing, right?
Right.
And their emphasis is on that direct participation as well, you know?
Right.
And I think that's important. Don't you think direct participation in a community is better? We don't feel so alone, right?
I know, right? That's really what community is about, the direct participation. If we can all participate, then it's a community.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so important to have that focus on God for us as Christians.
Yes.
Also, the Hebrew mindset is that you're not just learning, you're modeling. It's role modeling, it's mentoring.
I love this.
True discipleship.
Yes,
right?
I really love this part. Well, you know, all of them are all very good, of course, like the God-centered part. But I love that. I don't think we do that enough. We're so isolated. I love the fact of having role models and mentors that you can go to and ask for help. And
Definitely,
it's acceptable.
And I also like the other point is that the emphasis is on your experience, your age, because you know your white-haired wisdom, so to speak, right? So that's what it is, the white-haired wisdom, and you know, and really being a leader in that type of community is really through personal example, your character, how you show up. That's really character based, and so when you disappoint because you have a flaw, it's really tough on the community. And so you have to be really, really, it's really leader characterized led, not necessarily knowledge wise led. And I think that, but of course, with the white-haired wisdom, you do have a lot of knowledge too.
And you know, all the character based and everything, you know, it's really lends to the personal relationships that are part of the Hebrew community, which
definitely.
Really, it's wonderful, you know, if we're being honest and open and transparent, you know, we have those personal relationships.
Exactly. And everything revolves and centers around God, that vertical. Whereas inside a Greek community, you're going to find the orientation really to be program oriented. Exactly. And this, you know, this is the way we our educational system is. This is the way our Sunday school is. This is everything in our society is as North Americans. This is how it
Right.
is, right? And
Right.
it's focused on the horizontal. It's everybody involved. How do we get everybody on the same page? How do we get everybody with the same goals, pushing in the same direction? It really
Right.
revolves around these shared ideals, right?
Yeah.
Get
Right.
people
Right.
engaged because they are also involved in the same ideals, and we're really looking out for the well-being of everyone. But we know in
Right.
business, if we try to sell to everyone, no one hears us, right?
No, right, right. Yes. And having these the emphasis on education, which is good, of course, but having these programmed activities, kind of like you said, like the school, like this is the way we're gonna teach, and this is what we're gonna teach. And
No
um,
individualized stuff. It's just
right,
the
yes,
masses, right? It's like, all
right,
right, everybody needs to know this, and they need to know this of history, and they need to know this, how to do this, and
yes,
this is their civic duty, and that's what we're going to teach, right?
yeah,
So,
yes.
I mean, so then it relies really on superstars. It relies on people who can teach, who
Hmm.
can talk, who can communicate their skills,
Right,
and share the information in a way that the masses understand. So
right,
sometimes that
right.
means dumbing things down too.
Yeah, it does. It
So you
does.
get the bottom people as well as the top people, right?
I know. And then it's interesting how you said it's the stars, like, the extroverted people who can get
Mm-hmm.
out there and do the good communication skills. And, everybody has something to
To
share.
offer.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
To
And I
offer.
think even the leaders in the Greek thought, it's not really about what is their life like, what is their character like. It's how much of a superstar can they be?
Yeah. How much of a
How much knowledge
superstar?
can they
Yeah. So
emote, and
interesting.
how much charisma do they have?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we've seen leaders that have terrible character, but everybody just falls down all over them, right?
Yeah.
And so we've seen that. And then of
Yeah.
course those personal relationships, they're optional, because the focus is on
I
get them to a
know.
certain space, get them to the certain knowledge
Right.
base, and that's all we need to worry about.
Wow. So it's so interesting. Such an interesting comparison. I just love it. Have we blended these two orientation sides in calling clarity?
Um, I think so. I think that what you were just saying, that God focus is so
Yeah.
great. And the balance of these two thoughts is, I think, the active participation of being in those
Right.
relationships with one another, not just trying to educate everybody, but does an introverted person still be able to share their brilliance, their expertise, is because they're
Right.
not thinking I have to share it with everyone, right?
Right.
And really giving people the opportunity to be leaders in their own rights.
Yes,
No matter, they
absolutely.
don't have to be a superstar, but they can still be a leader, because we all lead in different ways too.
I know, really. We're all leaders. We all have ways in the which we lead. Just because we're
Mm-hmm.
not the superstars, on the
Mm-hmm.
stage with the big smile and everything.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there is a balance for these two thoughts. And,
Yeah.
especially for us as Christians, we want to be in a place, in a community with shared values. And of course,
Right.
everyone in our group, it claims to be a Christian, right? And we really want to serve God first. And God's given us businesses so that we can serve Him through our businesses by serving our clients. And I think
Right.
that is beautiful that
I
we
think
get
that
to do
is.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, we have open communication. We have opportunities to communicate through masterminds, our Q&A sessions, our Bible study, workshop, our meetings where, faith-based meetings like oikos. We have that open communication. We want, like have said in previous podcast episodes, it's not just the Deneen and Mary show. We want everybody to participate.
Yeah, I mean, and I
Yeah.
think that that's definitely from the Greek side, is that open communication, but we
Yeah.
have it in such a way that it's individualized. It's everyone can grow in a supportive environment. So we've taken
Right.
this balance of being in relationships, but also having that open communication. So I think that's a good balance, don't you?
That's good. I think it's a good balance. Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. Okay. The second thing that we're going to look at, that was, I forgot what that one was called, orientation. Yeah.
Yep.
So the second one we're going to look at is biblical application. And you might not think that the Greeks have biblical application, but we're going to see how these two communities look like. So inside the Hebrew community, obviously, biblical application is foundational,
Yes, foundational.
to the community because that's what they do. What I like about the Hebrews is that they just don't read the word; they're doers of the word. They take it very seriously with all of their actions, the words that come out of their mouth, the way their attitudes are. They are doers. They do what the Bible says. So I love that.
And because of that, the Bible is their foundation.
Yeah, it's their foundation.
Yeah.
And I love it because what a Hebrew does is the Bible is reality for them to be confronted. How do I do this in my everyday? Because they know it's true. We know it's true as Christians, but we might not always take it to that point of confronting the Bible to say, am I doing what it tells me to do? Or am I just believing that it's really nice and flowery?
I know, right? Right. Are we really taking those biblical principles and adhering to them?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, being a doer means that it's going to shape your structures of how you do things, the framework of your culture, of your business, the rituals or routines, whatever you want to call them, that you start, the practices that you have in your daily life. It's going to be reflected in all areas. And for the Hebrew, that was their mindset. The biblical application was for everything. And of course, for us as Christians, it's a little bit different.
Right. Yes. Our goal is definitely, to develop Christ-likeness, to be transformed into the son
of Jesus, into Jesus. And so we have that same thing. So we might bend a little bit more towards this side for biblical application, but let's look at the Greek, because inside the Greek community, biblical application is really seen. Now, I want you to think the United States, Europe. I want you all to think that way when we say Greek. Okay, that's kind of like a good mindset to have. It's the biblical application. The Bible's seen more as a guide that serves for inspiration. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, right? It's more of a guide that serves for inspiration. So we are in the Greek mindset, we're not doers of the word, but we believe in the word.
Yeah, right.
But don't they always say your actions speak louder than your words?
Yes, right. Yes. We have to be doers of the word.
Right. So you can have that belief, but we want to take it a step further. But that's what the Greeks would say. Oh, I believe the Bible, and I like this verse, and I'm going to pick it out. And I like this verse, and I'm going to pick it out. Yeah. So and we see this, like, I don't know, maybe not, but when you're in a big Bible study like you're going to, and there's a lot of people, the Bible sometimes can be taught as data, as facts, as I need to learn this story. And there are things that you need to know that need to be taught, because in the Greek sense, it's not absorbing, it's knowing. It's the head. It's not always the heart.
I like that. That's good. Yes. It has to be in our hearts.
Yeah. And the thing is that the Greek mindset is like, the more you know about the Bible, the better. But that's not what God calls us to do.
No.
And because of that, many times it gets boiled down to the do's and don'ts.
Right. Like the rules, like try to, these are the rules. Do this, don't do that, don't do this, and check it off.
And that's where most of us as Christian women get into that mindset of, I should do this, I should do that. And everybody on the podcast, I'm making little quotation marks. I should do this, I should do that. And then we feel guilty when we don't do all the shoulds. And of course, we have our little saying in Calling Clarity, stop shoulding all over yourself.
Yes, right.
Because that's not what God calls us to do. But that boils it down for the masses. The same as education. It boils it down.
It does.
Here's the rule. Don't do this. Here's the other rule. Do this. And it works for most of the time. But then when it doesn't, nobody knows what to do.
Right. Exactly. And the other one that gets, this one is important, is that it emphasizes distinct denominations and differences, which is
Yeah.
like, why?
And then we focus on that, and
Why?
oh, but
And
they believe this and they believe, and we start
I
to nitpick
know,
each other to death.
I know. And it's like, really, why? Is it that important that, you're going to die on this hill of this denomination? And
Yeah.
it's
Are
just
you're
extra.
pre-trib? Well, I'm post-trib. Well, therefore we can't be friends and we can't do anything together. It's like, oh no,
I
it's
know,
crazy.
just
It's crazy. And I
no.
mean, the enemy loves to keep us distracted
Yes,
with this kind of
yes,
thought to
right.
just, I can't associate with you because you don't believe exactly the same way that I do. And I always tell everybody, if you want to have a discussion about the Bible, I'll fight with you. I'll fight with anybody about the Bible. I'm ready for it, because we just have to go back to the Bible. What does the Bible say?
I know.
And
What does
not
the
pick
Bible
out those
say?
one or two verses and try to make it fit into what you think it should fit into,
Right,
but take it in its context.
right.
Right.
Yes.
And
Ooh,
again, the goal is to not develop Christ likeness, it's to appear Christ-like. Because if you're doing all the
that's
shoulds and you're doing all the do's and the don'ts, you sure do
you
appear
sure
to
do.
be good.
Right. And if you're part of this denomination, you're extra special.
Exactly. You're the only ones that are going to be in heaven, and
Right.
everybody.
Yes. Yes. You are the only ones. Yes.
We are being facetious. We are
Yes.
being sarcastic
We
here.
are. We are.
Okay. So
Okay.
anyway,
Have we put these two in calling clarity?
I think so. I think that we can we do things that help to draw in both the business side and the Bible side, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I think about our book club, that we take a business book and we pull out its ethical teachings, its biblical principles. And what I have found is that a lot of business books have biblical principles and they don't
Yeah.
even realize they
I
have
know they don't
biblical,
know it.
because God already told us how to treat people.
Right. I know. I know.
I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think it's amazing. And the more and more that I get into business books and understanding all this, the more surprised I am about
Right.
the research that's going on and what they're finding out. And I'm like, don't we already know that? It's in the
Mhm.
Bible. We need to know our Bibles.
Right. That's right. That's a foundation. And then from
Yeah.
other things you can see, oh yeah, okay, I see how that could apply here,
Yeah,
or how that's
really.
applied here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing we really focus on is stewarding our time and our energy and our talents
Oh,
in the
definitely.
community.
Mhm.
We have a lot of opportunities for everybody to participate and share, what they have, and to get what they need too
Oh,
from the other community
definitely. Definitely.
members.
I mean, that's part of the one another verses too. It says to share your gifts with one another, right?
Mhm.
So if somebody's really good at communication, they need to teach us. If somebody's really good at discipline, they need to teach us. If somebody's really
Yeah.
good at goal setting, they need to teach us. Somebody's really good at prayer, they need to teach us,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we are mandated to share the, as I always like to say, the brilliance of everyone, and really, like you said, get what they need as well as give what others need from them. I mean, really the emphasis that we try to have is, we want to reason with one another. Like I said, fight in the Bible, right? We want to reason
Right.
with one another. We want to pursue excellence. We want to have virtue and ethics in our business practices, and really have personal development opportunities for people to get better at excellence or consistency or tenacity, or any of the perseverance, any of the fruits of the spirit.
Right.
When we talk about discipline, that's really the fruit of the spirit of self-control,
Right.
right? So all of these things happen.
Yeah, and we really need that. I think because we are solopreneurs, we're not in an office, we don't have coworkers surrounding us and helping us maybe get better, or you see that comparison type thing, like, oh, he got that done, I better get my stuff done.
Yeah,
So we
you
have
no, that's self-motivation.
you have to self-motivate, and that's what these personal development opportunities give you, that basis to self-motivate and be consistent and
Right.
pursue excellence in your work.
Right, exactly. I mean, we with accountability and everything. I mean, really, the way I see it, a Hebrew influenced Christian business community, what they really do is they prioritize trusting one another, that integrity, and really mutual respect among each other, one another, right?
Right.
And when I look at a Greek influenced Christian business community, which there are all kinds out there, we're telling you how to blend them to make the best one, right? It really emphasizes that pursuit of excellence in all your professional endeavors. It really encourages members to really develop those talents and skills and leadership capabilities. And that's why I think we have both
Think so,
in
yeah.
Calling Clarity. We
A good
really
blend.
have, yeah, we've really thought this through to say, how can we blend it together, weave a tapestry so that it's all the balance, not there's more of one than the other. So it's a mixture of colors in the tapestry, not all one color, and then
Right.
this much is purple and this much is green or whatever, right? But before we continue anymore with our last two, we had four altogether. We've gone through two of them. I want to ask our listeners or watchers, what are you looking for inside a Christian faith-driven business community? And how do you think the two structures we've talked about so far of thought can be integrated or woven together to create an amazing business community? We'd love to know what you think. So put that down in the comments for us.
And of course, if you want to know more about our community, you can check out the description. There's a link below in the description. And also you'll find an appointment to chat with Deneen about how the community can benefit you and if it's a good fit for you.
Oh,
If you
thanks.
want me to be there, I'll be there too. Let
Oh
me know.
yeah, if you want Mary to be there, she does all things tech for us. So if that's where you're not sure that what
Yeah.
kind of help you need, then definitely
That's a good
say
point.
in the question, say, can Mary be there too? So
Yeah.
we can make that plan. All right. So the third one is around ministry activity. Now, this is very interesting because a lot of people, when they think of ministry, they think of, I got to go work at church, but let's
Right.
see what the Hebrew and the Greek think about ministry. Okay, so inside a Hebrew community, ministry activity revolves around, I can't even talk anymore,
Mhm.
really small, intimate groups. And the
Like that.
leader is seen as a facilitator, not the boss. They might keep a clock, like I always keep a clock.
Right. Facilitator, which is a
Yeah,
facilitator.
facilitator, right? But it's not about them just telling you, right?
Right. Right.
It's
No, they
more
facilitate.
cooperative, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They facilitate all the people, and get them talking and get them participating.
Exactly. It's that cooperation, but and it's really planning how are they going to participate, because quiet people will not think of something to say unless you like give them a prompt,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Like myself.
Yeah, you need a prompt, so that's good. Again, it comes back to the ministry activity is actually sharing your spiritual gifts
Yeah. I love that. I
inside
love that.
the community. That's really what that means. It doesn't mean going and raking the leaves for the 90-year-old grandma on Saturday with the youth. It can mean that.
It can be.
It doesn't mean only that. That's the thing.
Right. There's
And
more.
then, of course, having the Hebrew mindset is to have frequently scheduled and unscheduled meetings. Like spontaneity is really great. Now that's hard in this day and
That's
age
hard.
because
It's
everybody
hard.
is very busy, as our
Busy.
badge of honor, busy.
Busy. Right. And
So
they're already booked. Like, their schedule is full. So
yeah,
it's best sometimes to get on the schedule.
exactly.
So
So
yeah.
providing those opportunities
Right.
frequently that are opportunities where they can connect in. So in the Greek community, ministry activity really revolves around large and impersonal groups. And this means it's leader directed and it's controlled by the leader through reason, through persuasiveness, charisma, whatever that may be. So, you're coming to their meeting.
Right. And it's like you said, like we're saying back before, the superstar type thing.
Yeah, definitely. And so all those organizational roles have importance. Here is the leader. Here is the the contact person. Here is the treasurer,
Right.
whatever it may be,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
you know, here's the person you get your Bible study materials from. Don't ask the person that's giving you the leadership, the Bible study. That's not their job. Their job is to lead the Bible study or whatever it may be,
Right.
right?
Right.
Whatever
Yeah.
it may be.
And
That's very Greek.
yeah. And again, back to that whole school thing, the emphasis is on acquiring knowledge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you said before, and I'm using the example of Bible study because of the fact that all churches have it, and it's very much a Greek mindset type of thing because they don't care how many people show up. It's not like, oh, we're only going to take 7 people, so we can have that. We do have small groups for that. So churches have seen the need for that more Hebrew style,
Yeah.
which is the small group,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
again, it's on how do we obtain more information. Sunday school classes, same thing. Wednesday night classes, whatever your church does, right?
Right.
And then the reliance is on those scheduled gatherings. And I know that you know this with an opt-in mentality. How many
Yeah.
people say they're going to come to one of
Oh my
our
gosh. Yeah,
things?
I
And this happened
know.
the other day. We had a mastermind for the public because we wanted to give everyone kind of a little taste of what it's like to be in a mastermind in Calling Clarity. And we had
Yeah,
6 people sign up and only 3 showed up.
I
And
know.
one of the
Right.
women was so shocked. Really? Does that always happen? And we're
I
like,
know she was shocked. It's like,
I was like,
yes,
yes,
very
it
common.
happens. Very common because
Yeah,
again, we are so busy. We have good intentions,
we
but we
do.
have
We
an
do.
opt-in mentality. Oh, if
Yeah,
something better comes up, I'm just going to cancel. I'm just not going to
right.
go.
I
Right?
know. I know.
That's not good.
And the opt-in mentality is that we have so many good things that we could be doing, really. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. But we have so many options that we
Yeah.
can opt into.
Exactly. But that's the problem. That's what I think the enemy, the Satan uses against us is that we aren't looking at good and bad choices or options. We're looking at good,
Yeah,
good, 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 good. And we really need to go to God, go pray and say, what are my best, what is the best thing or the better thing for me to do during that time? And
right,
and I always said, we have, you know, I've done all the things that are required of me. So what's going to give me the best return on my investment of doing? What's going to give me the greatest reward for what I am doing? And really start to take away some of the shoulds and take away some of the things we think are so important, but they're not really getting us to the goals that we have because we're allowing them to distract us.
right. Yes, it's so true. So true. So I believe we have blended these two ministry sides into Calling Clarity,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know like the one that is very important to, well, to both of us is being involved in activities that extend beyond making profit,
Mm-hmm.
extend beyond, business and making money. We have our Bible study, oikos, and personal development opportunities,
Yeah,
and
our panel discussions are all about
right,
personal
right,
development. I love oikos. Oikos, if no one knows, it means a household or family. And the early believers called themselves an oikos, a family of God, a household of God. And it's a fellowship meeting, really. We do a devotional, we share communion together. We learn how can we share our faith in ways that are authentic, in
right.
ways in the marketplace. And so it's one of my favorite things. And then the clarity, I still haven't had an opportunity. We haven't had any of our people come to this yet. It's pretty new. I love it because we're talking about hard issues of the day.
Right.
How do we biblically navigate all the issues, whether it's, homosexuality or transgenderism or just some of the things that are happening just in our society in general. It could be things, how do we approach these things in a biblical way, those hot
Right.
topics.
Right.
So those, I mean, yeah,
Yes.
and I love that we saw that was really important to get beyond that profit making stuff. And
Yeah.
yes, we do have business, all the business knowledge we have. Everybody, if you don't know, Mary's got an MBA for pity's sake. And I have probably got an MBA just reading all the books I've read. I
You
don't
have a
know.
master's in education.
Well, that's true. At least I can communicate what I read, right? And so that's good. But it's also for us, we've also helped blend this ministry thing by allowing people leadership opportunities to share their gifts, talents,
Yes.
spirits, whether it's professional, personal, or spiritual. And so, we have many, many different things that we do, including learning environment, learning events, where we're learning about what did you just do? Like how to set up a landing page and mailer lights. You don't need an actual website in order to have a landing page. How to create,
your welcome sequence. Yeah.
So
For
practical things as well. And we're always looking for ways to do things better.
Right. That's why we offer many tools and resources for your business growth, for your personal growth, and most importantly, your spiritual growth.
Yes, because we know, grow your faith and it fuels your business. You'll be more satisfied in your business if your faith is growing better, the same or better than your business.
Right, absolutely.
So that's
make better. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the fourth area we're going to talk about with these two sides is the fruits of a community.
Yes, the fruits, inside the Hebrew community, the fruits, are what are a strong social structure.
Yeah, that's what you see from them, right?
Right. That's what you see.
Yeah. So we're not talking about fruits like the labor or the harvest or something like that. We're saying, what do you see when you see a community that has those characteristics, the Hebrew characteristics or the Greek characteristics? Okay. So I love that. Strong social structure. Wow. That sounds cool.
So because if you think about that, they have a shared identity. They're really are moving together as one.
Yeah, and as Christians, we just said it, oikos, a family of God, right? That's what the early believers called themselves. That's what we are as well. We call each other brothers and sisters. So we have a shared identity as well.
Yes.
Well, we already know we're taking that one from them.
And because we have that shared identity and we're kind of moving together, along together, in connection, we're more resilient, and we can be resilient to those outside influences, or outside just the regular day-to-day influences of our world.
I know. I mean, resilience is so important. It's in entrepreneurship, and having having a focus and a direction better than being influenced and having that shiny object syndrome and everything happening.
So easy.
Yeah, especially if you're by yourself in the solopreneur, right?
Right. Yes.
Well, I love the fact that Hebrews really look for that love and that acceptance and that forgiveness, because that's truly what Paul tells us in all the letters of the Ephesians and the Corinthians and the Philippians and Colossians. He's telling us, love one another, accept one another, forgive one another. So that's really, truly something that people should see in a Christian business community, is the members doing that for one another.
Right. Yeah. And that's what transparency is all about. So it's encouraged. It's encouraged so that you can have the love, acceptance, and forgiveness.
Yeah. And again, we talked about the active participation of everyone. It's not just the superstars. It's everyone having. It's like what Paul says with all the parts of the body. We each have a different role, and one part of the body can't survive without the other parts of the body.
Right.
And really, it's how we also think about what we're doing in business.
Yeah. How we serve others.
Yeah, definitely. That is all the Hebrew side. And I see a lot of that already taken into our business community, our Christian business community, without even like hesitation. I can see that. So the Greek community fruits are really intellectual development for the common good. So the common good is great because everybody will benefit from it, but it's more that focus on intellectual development. So what about a feeler like you, Mary? You're a feeler and you're like, I still need more than just this intellectual development, and us thinkers like me, we need to feel something. So we can't just do this, I mean, yes, for Greeks, the focus is on innovation, right? It's on moving forward all the time, which is important. And it's not about forgiving and loving one another. It's more about tolerating one another.
Yeah.
It's about putting up with one another because you have something I need, so therefore I'm going to tolerate you so I can get it.
I
Oh,
know. I
that is,
know. Oh, it sounds like the corporate world.
yeah, exactly. The corporate world is very much Greek community based.
Yeah,
The fruits, you see
right.
it, right? Because who's going to be transparent and honest in an office?
No, it's discouraged because if you do, you're weak. You're labeled as weak, or your weaknesses are shown, or something like that, and then you're
Right.
judged.
Yeah. I mean, then you can also see lethargy, passivity. What
Yeah.
is that? The new thing out now, it's that you're paid your wage, or it's they're quiet quitting. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
right.
Quiet
Right.
quitting.
Yeah.
They are doing just the bare minimum at their jobs
Yeah.
to not lose their job.
I know. I know.
That's what happens in a Greek community style, is that people are
Wow.
not excited to do their best to
Right.
share.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. And the participation are trained professionals.
Only the
So
trained people, right?
yeah, only the
Right.
trained people can tell you anything, right?
Right. And then what do? We become spectators. We're just like, okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm just a sponge soaking in this stuff.
Right.
I don't know how to
Right.
use it. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to use it, but
Right. I
I'm
don't know if I'll
soaking
get
it
a
in.
chance. Right. Right. Yeah.
So again, it's what you know is emphasized, not how you serve. It's what you
Yeah.
know. And it doesn't matter if you're a white-haired wisdom person. If
It
you don't know
doesn't.
it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have we blended these two?
Oh, let's see. How are these fruits? How is it demonstrated in calling clarity? Well, as we said already, that shared identity in Christ. It's
Right.
like we
Yes.
are oikos. We are a family of believers,
Yeah.
all with
And
the goal of being in business.
right.
Right?
Right. And we emphasize the one another verses because
Mm-hmm.
we want to show love, acceptance, and devotion to each other.
Yep. And let's see, mutual participation. We've talked about it so far. And all of our members at different levels have different things that they can contribute. We're open to that. That's what our emphasis is really everyone giving of themselves.
Right.
What
Right.
else?
Yeah. We work to serve God, of course, and to serve our clients,
Yeah.
with excellence.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
I mean, we do have the intellectual development. We
mhm,
also have personal development. We also have spiritual development. So we
right.
do bring in that Greek side. We want you to know more, but we want to put the emphasis on how we use that knowledge is more in that Hebrew style, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. And you take your own personal responsibility for your growth.
Yeah, that's what
It's
it lends itself to. It's
yeah.
not you sucking up like a sponge because
No, you're not the
somebody,
spectator.
you're not the spectator, you're the active participant in your own
Yes.
growth.
Right.
I think ours is amazing. I think that we've and
I
and and
like
I
it.
and the thing is that I've got to be honest here, because I knew all this, and I was, prayer when in starting this community, having the courses, having all of these things, living in a Greek style environment, but loving the Bible. And
Yeah.
this is how I approached the blend of creating calling clarity,
Right.
is that it was a very intentional type of things, because these contrasting models really do offer like valuable insights on our
Right.
contemporary business communities.
Yeah.
Right now, how we can be in a business community as Christians, because the Hebrew model does remind us of the power of those
Yeah.
shared faith, mutual support, fostering belonging and resilience,
Yeah, I
right?
love
We
that.
have people that have our backs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means that our
Right.
business transactions and our business decisions are guided by principles around fairness and honesty, compassion, really reflecting our commitment to the well-being of everyone. Again, modeled after the one another verses. If you don't
Right.
know what the one another verses are out there, just Google it and you will get the list. There's like 30 or more. So there's a
Yeah.
lot. And then, of course,
Yeah.
on the other side, the Greek model emphasizes the importance of active participation, open discourse, and personal responsibility in building a just and thriving society. So that means providing opportunities for us to provide for training, for
Right.
mentorship, personal development and to empower individuals to reach their full potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that we can blend the two and
Mhm.
appreciate each one of their perspectives, instead
Oh,
of being
definitely.
like, there's only one.
Yeah, instead we're
Yeah.
not seeking like a superior
Right.
model. We can
Right.
appreciate all the
Yeah.
diversity from the different perspectives and what they offer. Again, the Hebrews is the enduring power of the values, the faith, the support, and the Greeks is the active participation, open conversations, communication, and personal responsibility.
Yeah.
It just is so amazing to me.
Yeah, I love it that, integrating these two thought styles in today in the modern world and in a Christian business community really creates a balanced approach to our culture, leadership, and our social responsibility.
Yeah, it
And
kind of
there's no,
makes it super like moving and dynamic and different. It's not all
yeah,
one or the other.
I
It's
know
you
it's
can
not.
choose different things in the tapestry. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And each one has wisdom. Each one has wisdom and different traditions, different
Yeah.
perspectives, like communities, business communities, like calling clarity. We can strive for excellence in the marketplace and show our values and serve as those lights out there in the marketplace and to people, everyday people that we might meet on the street.
Yeah, it is so
Yeah.
true. I mean, we are called to be salt and light, to shine God's goodness. So I love that. So I want to keep this conversation going. So those of you out there who are listening or who are watching us, we'd love for you to share your thoughts on these ideas and how they can help us build thriving business communities that really embody Christian values while staying relevant in an ever-changing world. It, give us some feedback in the comments. This is
Yes,
an
yes. Tell
exciting
us what you think.
conversation to understand this. So thanks so much for joining us today on the Truth in Business Show. Remember, we'd love to have you in the chat to tell us anything
Yeah.
that you want, because that's our love language. And we'll put in the description how you can look at the Calling Planted community and all the things that are available to you there. So you can see that down in the description as well. And if you're really loving this content, make sure you like, share, subscribe, give us good ratings, whatever it is. If you're listening, follow us there. We would love it. We'd love to know that you're out there and what your thoughts are. This is DeneenTB.
And I'm Mary Allure.
Have a great rest of your day. And as always, be filled to overflowing.